Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? How y'all feeling? Okay, so y'all told me that I had to go watch this Adrian interview to see what was going on between her and her husband, right?
That.
Y'all, I'm about to go to bed, hence the bonnet and all of that. So, but I seen the interview, right? And I was like, okay, I seen the real when she talked about this man. She had just um broke off the engagement actually to her ex man. They were supposed to get married. They was engaged for a very long time. Um, and she was like, "Oh, I'm taking time to heal, blah blah blah." And then she popped up with this man, right?
I needed someone that was family oriented because those things matter to me.
And I didn't even really know the man, but it was alleged that he had just gotten divorced or in the process of the divorce, and she got caught with him, connecting with him, right? Adrienne, I would say she's a very beautiful girl, gorgeous girl, right? But Adrienne have always been into a certain type of man, if you do know what I mean, right? It seems like she's always been chasing love or chasing attention or chasing validation, in my humble opinion. And I feel like this is what this is. When I watched the interview, right, what I saw was a lot of the conversation was, well, I don't have to beg him for attention. I don't have to beg him for validation. I don't have to beg him for, love. I don't have to beg. And that tells me she's used to having to beg men or the people that she's in relationships with for attention, for love. She's used to toxic relationships. She's used to that type of thing. So when she got with this guy, she's a beautiful girl. He's telling her you're beautiful. He's giving her so much attention. I think that that's what she fell in love with.
I don't think that I would have known I needed you and the person that you are had I not dated people who I didn't get that from and that I wanted that from. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like I forced a lot of things, or like I would ask for attention. I never had to ask that of you because you gave it freely. And because I didn't have it before, I was able to go, wait, this is different. I never had, it was always felt kind of like a game. Like I had to keep a wall up. You know what I'm saying?
I don't believe that they were not dealing with each other after he got, the divorce or whatever. All I can say is, Adrian, that was a messy situation, okay? And I kind of like Adrian, but it was a messy situation. Think about it. This man cheats on his wife, not with you. If, like, Alicia Keys' situation, it's messy too, because it's been alleged that, he cheated on his wife, but when he was messing around with somebody, he was messing around with Alicia, right? With Adrian, you're like kind of like the third woman. Like, he didn't even cheat on his wife with you, according to you, right? So according to you that wasn't the case, right? Well, not even according to her. She said he like cheated with someone else, right? Got her pregnant, and then you were kind of like the third woman. So he cheated within cheating and came to you to talk to you about it and ended up married to you. You know what I'm saying? You're like the third woman. For me, that's too much going on, okay?
But in that moment, I don't know. That's how I know it was God. Because in that moment, I literally reached over and was like praying for him, and I held him, and I was just like, I love you. Like, you don't have to be that. Like, that's not, it's just so wild. Like, I just was like, I love you. I love you, flawed. I get that you're so honest and transparent with me right now in this moment, and I get that, but I still love you.
Too much messiness. And the fact that you thought, I'm going to pray for this man, but I'm going to pray that this man is mine, okay? It's very much so. And this is the worst example, but it's very much so given Savannah from Waiting to Exhale, When she was dancing with that man, she's like, I closed my eyes and I pretended that this man was mine, that he was everything that I ever wanted, that he was the one. Yeah, it's given that.
Your biggest fear used to be when you were dating.
Yeah.
Do you know what you used to always be afraid if you were dating, that somebody would cheat on you?
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like, you had a real
not just my biggest fear, but again, that's attached to my embarrassment.
But at least Alicia was the other woman. You the third woman, sis. That's a lot. It's a lot going on. And it seemed like she just wanted somebody to choose her, and she didn't want to have to convince a man. I feel like the last relationship she was in, she was engaged for a very long time, and she had to convince him to marry her. And during that time, I think it did a number on her self-esteem and her self-worth, She's like, man, so when she got connected with this man, and he was, oh yeah, I'll marry you, oh yeah, I'll give you all these things that you had to fight another man for, she kind of settled in that situation.
I'm really grateful that God orchestrated us to meet when we met, because I probably needed attention. I needed what I guess I had always wanted, which was like someone to pour into me and just like dote on me and love on me. I needed that at that time.
And a lot of the times what you notice is Christian women or women tend to wrap it in a Christian bow because people love Jesus. It's given Derek Jackson and his wife.
If we can't be the grace of God, what I want from God is grace. I ask for grace every morning. I want that mercy and that grace. I pray that I can be that for, if anything, the person I married, you know?
Trying to, and even though she was kind of admitting to some of this stuff, but she was putting on her helmet of salvation, okay? Like that lady who was doing the interview with Dear Wifey podcast, they like to wrap it up in Christianity to think like it excuses the mess or reduces the mess. I think that with Adrian, this man, it was too much going on too early on in the situation, but I really believe that she settled because she had low self-esteem, and because the last situation, that man did not choose her, and she got sick of waiting for him to take her to the altar, and he was playing games. I believe his name was something Rod, A-Rod, child, I don't know what the man's name was, but he was taking her through the ringer, making her wait around for marriage, and just not choosing her. That was her forever engaged man, and he was just playing with her. So in that situation, but this man, I think that, and Adrienne put herself through too much. She wanted the child. I feel like if that last guy would have wasted her time all along, he would have never married her, and she was forever engaged to this man. And she's like, when am I going to get married? When I'm, what I'm saying? People be talking that mess like, oh, you a hoe, or you sleep with that person, and you stick with one man for a long time, he'll waste your time. He really will. And a lot of your time, a lot of your youth gets wasted. This man is taking you along and not giving you want a baby, you want marriage, you want all of this, and now you're stuck in early menopause because you thought that eventually this man will marry me, this man will give me these things, this man, you know what I'm saying? All of that with the previous relationship, this relationship, you understand what I'm saying? I'm connecting to her past when she was engaged to now to where she's with this man. And I think what the part that was like a little bit of a red flag to me, and I don't see a lot of people talking about this, is the fact that she said that I hooked him up with some of my friends. Okay. So there were other women too? So there's the wife, the side chick, a couple of your friends.
She sent me on dates with friends of hers to try and prove that.
Story.
That's not the answer to your question.
What kind of, who did you send him on a date with? I want to know later. You can
that's another.
And so it was the married woman, it was the chick that he was messing around with and got pregnant, and then it was a couple of your homegirls, and then he came to you. I would feel like this Christian man, this man that's saying that he's connected to the Lord, he needs a moment of rest and a moment by himself. Okay,
that was sort of in the family business of church.
Yeah, your dad was a pastor, and I think
that's a different dynamic for sure.
Because there's no and then something else he said in the interview, I don't know if y'all catched it, but in the interview he said that he has a child to where he did not know that this was his child. He found out later on in his life that was his child, and that was like, what?
I have an older son who I didn't know I was his father until he was almost 5. We have a great relationship now, but and he's 31.
That was insane to me. So this man is flopping and dropping just everywhere, throwing seed everywhere, to where he didn't even know he had a child, and he found out when that child was grown that this was his child. Adrian, what?
Okay.
Some of them actually were at my wedding.
At the wedding, yeah.
Wow.
Which is even weirder.
But I never.
None of that went well.
Yeah, but
And I understand. I understand that people be wanting children. I understand that people be wanting marriage. I understand that people be wanting a whole bunch of different things. But at what cost and at the expense of whom? Because how many women had to cry tears? How many women heart had to be broken? How many women was going to the Lord praying that Jesus healed their heart behind that man for you to take him on and make him your husband? And now you trying to convince us of this love story. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? And I also started feeling like, well, I mean, hey, people be having the stuff and having their story or whatever, and it be messy and it be, just move on, okay? You don't have to keep reminding us of how you got him, because now we got commentary on it. And I don't want to have commentary on Adrian. I like you. Just move on, okay? You got him in a very horrible way. You settled for him because you had low self-esteem and you just wanted a man to see you and wanted some attention. You wanted these things, and so you settled for somebody that accepted you, period. But let's move on. Alicia moved on, okay? Alicia moved on. Allegedly, she and the ex-wife, then they became friends and stuff. It's very much so giving Jada Pinkett and that woman, and they was over here having girlfriend time talking about their baby daddy. Okay, I'm saying it's very much so giving that. Just move on. Just move on. Don't remind us of how it happened, because, and then when you reminding us of how it's happened, you're lacking accountability and saying, wait, you know what I'm saying? But then you're also telling on yourself saying, well, I was praying that it was me all along. If he came to you to pray for his relationship and you were praying that it was you, then how you hook him up with your homegirls when deep in you wouldn't even have the strength. I'm not even gonna hook him up with my homegirls because I knew that I wanted it to be me all along. But you hooked him up with your homegirls, knowing, so that makes me feel like you okay with a man that explores. This tells me that you are okay with a man going through B's as long as he coming back to you at the end of the day. You know the type of women that be like, he could sleep with Sarah, he could sleep with Kim, he could sleep with Ashley, he could sleep with Amber, he could, sleep with Sydney. I don't know, make up the names as they go along. As long as at the end of the day he coming home to me, as long as he's my man at the end of the day. That's what it's giving me. Because for you to know in your heart that you wanted to be with that man and proceeded to hook him up with your homegirls, bitch, and a few of them was at your wedding after they done dated him, that's insane to me. Insane. Insane. That's crazy work. Adrian, was that you?